Hi guys, so this is going to be Chronicles of My Narcissistic Ex, episode 4 I believe. Now I had intended to make this video a few months ago, but I didn't because I wanted to wait for the court date to pass, and then I kind of got a little bit busy, so I'm going to do it now. I had written down stuff. Usually when I make a video, I'll write down notes so that I make sure I hit points that I want to make. So, I think it was like end of January, I went to the child support office, and I let them know, like I filled out paperwork, and I let him know where he worked, and I'm not sure when, but it didn't take long, I guess. And he got paperwork in the mail from the child support office. They let him know that, I was going to go after him for child support. So he quit his job, got a new one. And then I found out from them that the employer that I had given them told them that he no longer works there. I had to go down to the child support office anyway for something else. And when I was there, I called him, or not, I didn't call him, I'm sorry, I texted him. And I actually lied to him, and I told him that the child support office said that he could probably get thrown in jail because he's trying to avoid paying any child support. So he promptly gave me his new job info, and I think it was like a few days later, he quit. So that's 2 jobs he got rid of. At some point shortly thereafter, he had an appointment with the child support office, and I guess he wasn't working, and they tried to come to an agreement with him, like of an amount, and he would not even agree to $10. That's what the lady on the phone said. So when I talked to the lady, she told me that as of right now, because he's not working, except for his National Guard thing, that I would only get $50 a month in child support. I guess it's better than nothing, but still, I mean, it's not fair that all physical and financial support is on my shoulders when I didn't make her on my own. But in any case, she told me that they set a court date 4 months away from when I was talking to them. 4 months is kind of long for a court date, because what is the kid supposed to do for 4 months? Eat dirt? Live in a cardboard box? Because if he's not doing anything for support, the man gets to just live his life. Whereas the mom, the one with custody, if we don't support our kid, we go to jail for neglect, and possibly more than likely we'll have our kids taken away from us and put in a foster home. And he still gets to sit on his butt and nothing happens to him. So I did some investigating myself, and I found out that he has a cash-based handyman business. It's not licensed or insured, or registered with the Better Business Bureau. It's just, hey, you need me to come hang up a TV on a wall for you? $50 cash, and he doesn't have to report that. Actually, the child support office told me that he can make as much money as he wants doing a side business like that. If it's not accredited with the Better Business Bureau, that they do not count it as income. But When I said that I was babysitting for a little bit of money, I had to put that in as income, even though my babysitting isn't a better business bureau business either. So in the end, the kids are really getting screwed in this because of the double standards. And I was also told that if he doesn't even have to go to court, and they'll just set the amount at $50. But if I don't go to court, I don't get anything. I am not a man hater, but men really have so much advantages, and everything gets put on the women, and it just really sucks. Well, it mostly sucks for the kids, because it's the kids that's hurting. So to get by all that time, like, he would pay here and there what he wanted, which wasn't much, like $75 in the beginning of the month here, and then next month at the end of the month he might give me like $125, something like that. So almost 2 months without even getting anything. So to get by, I was babysitting my friend's kids. I was not making much. It was basically, I think it equated to about like $60 60 cents an hour per kid. I was also selling a lot of my stuff, and I tried, shortly before the court date, I tried to make a deal with him, and I was like, hey, if you give me this much, then, you know, I won't go after for the paper agreement that we have for an amount. And I think the total that he owes is up to $31,000 now. So I told him I wouldn't go after him with that, and he can easily sign his rights away. And I also won't go after retirement in the divorce, which, you know, when you're married, I think it's like 10 years, you can, if you're the female spouse, you can get like half their retirement or something like that. I never wanted it in the first place, but I was using it as leverage to try to get him to agree to something for our daughter. So about 2 weeks before the court date, the child support office called me up, and they said, hey, we can't get a hold of him, but as of right now, he only has to pay you, he's only going to be ordered to pay you $50 a month. So even though they knew the amount, I still had to go to court. Otherwise I wouldn't even get the $50. And then, so I got pretty upset that he was just going to be ordered to pay $50. So we went to court that day, and he intimidated me. There's plenty of seats everywhere, and where does he sit? He sits in the seat right in front of me. And he turns around and looks at me and gives me these puppy dog sad eyes, like, oh, feel sorry for me that I have to be here, or, you know, oh, it hurts to see you, I'm still in love with you type look. So he sat in front of me for probably half hour, 45 minutes before he finally turns around, and he's like, okay, so I can't agree to the amount that you want, which I think I said $750 a month. And we talked a little bit, and he said that he can do $550 a month. That was a whole lot better. So this lady ends up calling us up into a room towards the back of the court, and she said, okay, so he gave us an updated LES, and now he's also going to college, and he's using his GI Bill, and I think he gets extra for having dependents. I'm not sure about that, but I've heard that they could. So his updated LES shows his GI Bill money for like housing and stuff like that. So they use that in their calculations even though they're not supposed to. And they said that he had to give me like, I think it was $330 a month. So I told the lady, I said, look, we agreed to $550, and he told her the same thing, that that's what we agreed to. And he agreed to it as long as I don't go after his retirement and stuff like that. So, like I said, I didn't want it in the first place, but it's what I needed to use as a bargaining chip. We had, I think, like an hour and a half to kill until we had to go back in court to be called up to talk to the judge herself. So we went outside because there was a couple of loose ends that we kind of needed to tie up about the child support, like, because we didn't know what the judge was going to do, so we wanted to have our end straight. So we said our court date was the last day or second last day in August, so we're like, okay, even though it's in August, the first time you'll owe this much is in September. And also it will be direct, where he will put it in my account rather than sending it to child support and then having it sent to me, because otherwise I won't see the money for weeks and weeks after I'm supposed to get it. And I've heard bad stories about people, like the person paying support sent in money, and a lot of it, and they had the proof, but the child support office said that they didn't even receive the money. So they waited months and still nothing. I don't want to run that risk. So we actually got a paper. Oh yeah, we went to in front of the judge, and so she made it final that $550 is what he had to pay. We leave, we go our separate ways, and then shortly later we get a paper in the mail. He gets one too that says that he has to pay through the child support office and not pay directly. And I contacted the child support office, see if we can change that, and she said, nope, and if he pays you directly but doesn't pay us, then that is gift money, and then he is in arrears with us. So I'm like, oh my Lord. And I asked a lot, like, is there any way around it? Now, she said I would have to go down there and sign a paper saying that that I don't want the child support office to interfere, but it's still court ordered that he has to pay $550. So they're not going to be guaranteeing that he pays. But I mean, child support office doesn't really do anything when people who pay child support are in arrears. I have multiple friends who have their exes in arrears. I think one is about $20,000 behind. They know it. They don't care. They didn't take away his license. Didn't even threaten him with jail. They're just like, whatever. So when they take money out of your child support for that purpose and they keep it for themselves, what is that money for? Because if they're not doing anything, why bother paying them to make sure that you get your money? But here it is, the 24th, I think, of September, and he hasn't given me a penny this month yet. I still haven't gone down to the child support office to sign that paper, but he knows that I'm going to. But also, we had Hurricane Florence run through here, and it was crazy, and there was no mail for a while, and he was supposed to be getting a check, and he was supposed to give me that check. I guess it was from his school, from his GI Bill and stuff. So it didn't show up, and you know, right now I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that something happened to it because of the hurricane. Maybe it got lost in some flood, or maybe, I don't know, just something happened to it. So he went down to the office today, I think it was, and they said, oh, give it till Wednesday to show up. If it doesn't show up on Wednesday, we'll issue another one, which is going to take forever. But he was also activated during Hurricane Florence, so he's going to be getting a bunch of money from the National Guard for that, and he says he's supposed to be getting that the 4th, and that's when, if he doesn't see that check by then, that's when he'll give me the money. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm going to need extra because I can't pay my mortgage without it. I have most of the money for my mortgage, but I just need, you know, a couple hundred more just so that I can make it. And if I don't pay it, I have a late fee. So hopefully it shows up so that I can go down to the courthouse, because, the child support office. If I sign this paper and he's still court ordered to pay support and he doesn't pay support, we have proof with our mutual checking account. So if he doesn't pay, I just have to do all the work myself by going down to the court and being like, hey, he didn't pay child support, you know, and that's how we'll have to get it that way. Okay. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff. In February, my daughter got bronchitis, and I told him about it. Like, I still do this thing where if something major happens, I still let him know. That way, what if he does decide to go for visitation or custody or whatever, and he can sit there and say, oh, well, she doesn't tell me anything. So even though he didn't talk to me really for a long time, I still sent him important information just in case. And then I think it was in April, she got bronchitis again, and she was also having bad allergy issues, and that ended up bringing on an asthma attack, so I had to take her back, and they put her on this little breathing machine. I think it's a nebulizer. And then 2 days later, or was it the next day, something like that, I had to take her back because she had blotches all over her body, and come to find out she had a viral infection and her lymph nodes were swollen. So I'm still telling him all this stuff about her. Not once did he acknowledge it. Although, when she had the asthma attack, I did ask him for like $35 or $30 to send, so I can buy her, what the heck is it called? Okay, humidifier. So, because the doctor said it would be good for her to have a humidifier. So I went in the garage and found my humidifier, but because I haven't used it in years, it was all moldy, and I was not going to clean it out and use it. And I told him this. I didn't feel safe even if I cleaned it with bleach. I said I'd rather just get a new one. So he actually sent the money for it, but he didn't say anything really. So at least he did that. But she ended up all right. She's good. Just, she has an inhaler now, just in case. It bothered me a little bit that he didn't care. Like, I never followed up with him by saying, oh, she's okay now. You know, I was hoping that he would ask, hey, how is she doing? But a narcissist parent just doesn't care. And that's why he didn't ask. Okay, so this is something that happened in May. I took her to Sonic. They had a little play area there where they can go play with other kids and whatnot. And as we were sitting down eating, there was a dad playing with his little girl. She must have been about 2, maybe 3 years old. Very adorable. This little girl, I'm telling you, it was the cutest thing watching her like march right up, all brave, going up the little steps to go down the slide. And the slide is only 2 feet off the ground, but to a little kid, that's super high. But she looked all brave, like she was gonna totally do it. This is something my daughter did when she was little. You know, she tried to brave everything, and then when it came right down to the execution, it was like, oh my God, I can't do it, I'm so scared. So anyway, once she sat down to go down the slide, she rethought quickly and then started to cry because she got scared. There was just no way she was gonna go down. So the dad got right up and went over to comfort her. He picked her up and held her and patted her back and everything, and she was just sitting there crying and soaking up his love. And then my daughter, I looked at her and she had this sad look on her face. And then she turned to me and she's like, hey, do you see the little girl with her dad over there? And I said, yeah. And she's like, it makes me sad. I wish my biological dad wanted me like her dad did. And I wish he didn't hurt me. Like, she was sitting to my right and I went like this and I like started freaking crying because, oh God, I'm doing it again because of the memory, but like, narcissists think that either they think that their absence has no effect on their kid, or they just don't care that it has an effect on their kid. And I texted him this, you know, the thing that happened, and I told him, I told him just that. I'm like, you think what you did has no effect on her, you just don't care because you don't see the pain that you put her through. She says things like this. It's not often, but she says it every once in a while. So she is hurting and she is feeling the effect. But he doesn't care. I don't sit there and badmouth him and call him names and stuff like this. I just make it sweet and to the point. I'm like, hey, this incident happened, and you know, you think that what you're doing has no effect on her, but it does. Or you don't care that it affects her, and you know, it really sucks. She knows that he wants nothing to do with her because he hasn't been around now, and what's it been, a year, 3 months and like 11 days, or no, a year, 3 months and 21 days, something like that. So it's been almost a year and 4 months since he's seen her. And then for her birthday in June, I sent him, like, he sent stuff for Christmas, so I assumed he would send stuff for her birthday. And I sent him links to stuff that she wanted. He didn't send anything, didn't even text happy birthday to her. He's an artist. He's really good at drawing. He couldn't afford a stamp to send her a handmade card. So he's really pushing himself away from her. Right now we're kind of somewhat on talking terms, but it's pretty much business only. He's, like I said, he hasn't spent a long time having anything to do with her. He's just been pushing himself away on purpose. Anyway, so that's the update on the Chronicles of my narcissistic ex for right now. So go ahead and comment down below if you want. Have a good one. Take care.